Hello, everyone. Whew. What are we at here? Sunday, April 10th. Holy cow. I know I keep saying this, but the intensity of energies just keep going up and up and up and just popping. Last night, we got a geomagnetic storm of KP7 or whatever, a pretty high number. But it was energy just washing in and clearing density in my body. I talked a lot about in the past of pain in my body and suffering and discomfort and those kind of things, and lots of stuff in my mid back on the left hand side, my right hip. But I got an interesting look into it. My intuition has told me to start like shining light deeply into every facet of my being, all my cells, building of like a protection around me to block me from all the energies and technologies, etc., that are in this world, just trying to kind of push people from not awakening, just like anchoring them, encasing them in concrete, so that they don't feel the same way, or they feel it with density, or they feel unworthy, or other things. And my perspective starting to change. I've always kind of stated that the darkness is outside me and that it's trying to harm me. But I'm looking at it differently now, because yes, there is darkness. Darkness cannot touch us unless we allow it, is the first thing. And there's a lot of programming and technologies in this world that just kind of make us unaware, and some of it comes in that way. But what I'm starting to learn is a lot of the things that we consider darkness, let's say like a relationship breakup or a divorce, or having an accident or bankruptcy, or other things, we actually contract with other people, other energies. Some of them may be darkness, some of them may be just other people on a similar ascension path that need an equal and opposite kind of push from contracting with you. So like joining together at some spiritual level that we can't see, that says this person is going to have a relationship with you and it's not going to work out, and it's a mirror of you, or other things. And we a lot of times classify that as darkness. But this is where I come back to the term that I always use of the darkest dark is the lightest light. Sometimes we need pressure applied to us as a person to make a choice, or to see inward, or to get to a dark spot where we finally hit bottom and start to rise up. And we contract that with people, relationships, lovers, abuses, rapes, all these kind of things are all tools that are in the tool basket that we contract other people. Like the person that's the perpetrator is learning power and struggle issues, and maybe didn't have that power in their world, and the other side is like a victim and not having boundaries and other things. So we have all these events that we classify as bad, or we look at inside ourselves and say, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done differently, or beat ourselves up for our whole entire life. And this is where I'm getting to the Ascension Life Review. So each of those things have an influence on our choices. So we come here as a spiritual being to try and learn about things that are inside ourselves as a soul, as a spiritual being, that are not ascended, are not fully unconditionally loving to self. And we insert these experiences that are just like hammers on the top of your head sometimes, or gouging your eyes out because you're so sad, you're so angry, you're so hurt. But those events are the events that turn us inwards. I've had a lot of relationship issues in my past. And if I would have got involved in relationships like that, I would have got destroyed if those bad things that I thought happened, or the woundedness that I was projecting and then receiving, if those hadn't been reflected back to me in some way, I couldn't have found myself. I couldn't have found my center and figured out what kind of things that were ingrained or karmic things that I was lurking through. I had to see them. And I contracted with these other people, and then I judged them bad. I said they're bad, they didn't do right, or I was bad, or I didn't do my best, or I could have done better. And an ascension life review is basically an opportunity. I had one this morning. I'm just laying in bed, and I'm looking at my life, and I'm seeing all these things and all the judgments and all the pains and all the sufferings, and I could feel in my chest, in my fascia, in my body, in my energy, this contraction, like, holy fuck, I just got beat to hell. What the hell's going on? And I gotta protect myself, and I can't do that again. I gotta watch out for that, and blah, 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 blah. And then I realized why my body's so tight. My body is curled up in a tiny little ball sometimes, trying to defend myself from all these things that happened that I couldn't understand. I must have been bad. I must have done something wrong. I must have missed something. This is the judgment that we put on ourselves, and it crickles us into a ball, and it creates our not worthy and our not good enough and our not abundant and aren't worthy of a relationship or love or whatever. And I could see it for this first time. All this light and all this intensity and all this suffering, struggle that we're going through was forcing me to this poignant moment of saying, holy shit, I did the best I could. This had to happen. I had to learn all these really suffering, painful things that are stuck in my heart, but they don't define me. They showed me and gave me an opportunity to have a choice that I couldn't have had any other way of choosing myself, of standing up to other people's wounds and hurts and lack of boundaries and other things, to go through all the patriarchal struggle, because it's a man thing, and the divine feminine healing and the divine masculine healing and all this stuff, and to see that my core character always loves, even though I get angry and maybe I want to lash out. I don't lash out in the way that I see other people lash out. I speak in integrity, and I say things that are hard to speak and needed to come through my throat chakra for the highest good of both involved. Not yelling and screaming, not that I haven't in my past, but I've grown so much, I've self-mastered so much to be able to say that I did the best I could with what I had in the moment. And I took all the stuff from the past experiences to grow and to freaking expand out even more. That life review showed me that I had choices. I could have been dark and evil and angry and forced. And yes, sometimes I was that dark or frustrating or angry for these other people, but I did it because it was for the highest good in that situation. I did it to the best of my ability. Sometimes it was messy and ugly and painful, and I hurt people. And people hurt me sometimes. It's part of being human. It's part of moving through it. And you grow every time. And you start to see that the heart of you is love. The heart of you is unconditionally loving. The heart of you is surrounded by all this pain and suffering. And now it's time to just move into that unconditional love, move into the forgiveness for self, move into the forgiveness of all this stuff, no longer being defined by all these soul contract things that happened that you couldn't possibly imagine why they had to happen with a human brain, and just trusting that the right thing happened and that you did the best and that everything you say and do always is the right thing. And sometimes that means being a little bit darker for people, or being truthful, or being direct, or whatever. And sometimes they hate you afterwards because, and you know those situations. You've had times when you've had to hate somebody and you couldn't stand them, and then you walked away for a while, and then you're like, holy shit, that person taught me, and then you're best friends again. This is the journey of human experience. You come here with a soul contract of a certain number of things that you need to wake up on, that you've wanted to clean up, especially in this time. You're cleaning up shit from all your lifetimes, and you're cleaning up shit for your lineage. You're cleaning up all this stuff. So it's huge, the stuff that's showing up. And that life review is just sitting there and observing, just like watching a movie almost of your life experiences, the things that you're hurting yourself for still, the things that you didn't like, you didn't love, and just accepting them, seeing them, allowing them to flow through, taking no definition, not trying to understand them, not trying to break them down, but simply witnessing and saying, I did the best I could. Those relationships taught me this. Those relationships aren't a symbol of what my relationships are in the future. Those things that I got hurt and wounded and got ganged up on or attacked or whatever were things that I needed to be aware of. They were shadows inside of me. They were programming from my family. They were programming from past lives. They were wounds that are just waiting to heal. And you couldn't see them in any other way other than sitting in this life review, just like watching a movie and saying, wow, holy cow, how did I make the choice to smile in that situation? Or how did I make the choice to be brutally honest in that situation when I should have been crinkled down into a little ball? This is life review. This is the awakening. All this light, all this pressure is shining on you into every shadow so you can accept absolutely everything that's ever happened and forgive it and release all the energies. Can you imagine how many people you're clawed into like this? Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, you're awful. Why did you say that to me? Let them go. Let them go. That's suffering. Some of the pain and suffering that you're feeling is theirs because you're hooked into people and you didn't even know it. Life review gets you back into your divine light, into your highest vibration, and you forgive everything. And then your nervous system can calm down. You can breathe. You can start to accept exactly who you are right now. And then you start seeing the self-love. You start feeling that bubbles of, holy shit, I don't need to be contracted anymore. I don't need to protect myself, or I don't need to hate somebody, or I don't need to be better, or whatever that thing is. You got a million of them in there. Just start acknowledging them. See your little child, inner child, so frustrated. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Your parents did this, and your brother did that, and blah, blah, blah. You'll go nuts. Breathe. Go here. Just hug that little part of your heart that's just like, okay, I'm forgiving this. I'm releasing it. I'm going to a far better vibration. All these things that I learned, and I learned the best I could. And anything else that needs to clean up, something will show up to clean those things up. And most of the stuff that's coming up right now is stuff that we feel that we still need to clean up, that we haven't forgiven ourselves for. Trust me, every single thing you've ever done, no matter how bad it is, was perfect, and it was for a reason. And it wasn't because you were dark, and it wasn't because you're bad, and it wasn't because you aren't ascended. It was done to give you a lesson, to teach you things, to feel both sides of the energy, the darkness and the light, so you can become balanced. You can come back here and you can be a fiery God that strikes down, or you can be a perfect angel. That is the range of experience when you are God. As we're moving back to our Godness, we want to be sitting right in the middle where we can see both sides and we know what dark and light is, and we aren't triggered and we aren't angry and we aren't on one side or the other, because when you get all your power back and you get your fullness of God, you know both sides. You can considerate someone from a look, or you can love them into absolute bliss. That is us finding our center. Once you found the center, you couldn't have found it without a whole bunch of good things and bad things and other things showing up. So that's what life review is. Go stand in the center. Take all your power back from your darkness. Take all your power back from your light. Don't give away anything to anyone. You are powerful, and you can wield that power without hurting anyone, with divine creation, in expanding the world. And as our vibration moves up, those things don't even show up anymore. They were forced into our system. So accept them all. You're beautiful. I love every single one of you and all the stuff you've done. Thank you for all the beautiful hearts and cricket and the comments from Leanie. We got this. This is life for you. This is cleaning up all the mess from everything and just letting it go into the earth and shining. So it's intense and it might be scary, but it's critical right now. So let it happen. Don't hang on to anything. Just breathe, feel the grief, feel the emotions, let it pass through you, and that's freedom. And when your body doesn't hurt anymore and all that stuff, anything in your body is something to go look into. Why is my back hurt? Why is my hip hurt? Why is my whatever? And sometimes it won't show up, but other times as you let go more and more and more, it's going to come free. So I love you all. Thank you for listening. this is really important stuff. It may feel like you're getting cursed or incinerated or whatever, but this is you cleaning up, and you may be talking thousands, hundreds of thousands, millennia of lifetimes that you're letting go and finally fully ascending so the whole planet can go. And we got to clean up and let go of everything that's left. And I don't mean clean up by like go and figure it all out. I'm talking about clean up in our thoughts, in our unworthiness, and the gift happens from there. And you'll just be birth free, and it's going to be beautiful. And I think it's going to happen for a lot of us this week. So breathe. If you get stuck or you're not sure what's going on, ask me a question. I'll talk at length. We need support. Thank you all for listening. Send this to anybody that might be in this position. It's really scary if you don't know what's going on. So thank you all. Thank you, Cricket. So love you too. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye all.